If you're planning a trip to Ocho Rios, Jamaica, don't even waste your time on this place. This is Turtle River Park. And if you're thinking about coming here while you're in Ocho Rios, don't waste your time. There's nothing here.
Did you guys know that less than 1% of Jamaica's population has access to their beaches in Jamaica? Actually, the number is 0.6% of Jamaica's population, to be exact. And why? Because of colonization. Foreign companies have bought out all the beachfront properties in Jamaica, limiting and preventing access of local indigenous Jamaicans from accessing their beaches, their own beaches.
Let's be real for a second. When people think about Jamaica, they think beaches, resorts, good vibes. Everything looks perfect. Everything feels like a dream. But here is the question nobody really asks. What is happening outside that picture? Because sometimes it's not what you say, it's what you don't see. It's what you don't see. Can you get that? Before I even go more deeper into it, let's go and watch the clip people reacted on, because what you're about to see might change how you look at tourism completely. Let's watch those clips and we'll come back for our full details analysis on it.
Jamaica is a beautiful country. It's known for its amazing beaches, friendly people, flavorful food, incredible music, and the overall strength of people. It's a small country, but it has a huge impact. But there is a dark side to Jamaica that they don't tell you about. The tourism of Jamaica makes around 35% of its GDP. It generates just over $4 billion in tourism alone. And only 10% of the local residents are actually seeing that money. 80% of that leaves the country. And the workers of these resorts are earning $2 to $4 an hour. That makes their base pay around $100 a week, barely enough to sustain themselves. A young man named Michael Downer, who recently did an interview on YouTube that I can link below, exposed the reality of tourism. He was an ex-butler for a very well-known resort named Sandals. In 8 years, he had one minor write-up, and that write-up was because he gave a fellow colleague a burger to eat because he had worked through his entire lunch shift. And then eventually he was let go because he stood up for his rights and all of the resort workers' rights without any reason. After that, he became blacklisted and he could no longer earn through tourism to make money for his family. Michael goes on to explain how many of these resort workers are not even living hand to mouth. They're literally living hand to chest because they can't even make enough to reach the mouth. They're not guaranteed work beyond 6 months, and their residence lasts as long as their contracts for the resorts do, which means they could be homeless within a 6-month span. Many of you are wondering, how did they get away with this? It's simple. It's the Jamaican government. Unlike Barbados, who implemented an Employers' Right Act that protects the workers of these resorts, the Jamaican government allows private employers to hire and fire at their discretion. There is no protection for these workers. And on top of everything else, the Jamaican government does not provide any type of welfare or support to its citizens. That means if you're out of work and you have nowhere to go, you literally have nothing. And unfortunately, as a worker, you can't say anything because you're afraid of losing your job and your home. And then what do? A lot of their paycheck is also designated toward their housing, which means they can't live the Jamaican way. They cannot own their homes. They cannot own their land. So why would anyone become a resort worker, right? Why would you become a resort worker? It's not out of choice. It's survival. As I mentioned, 35% of Jamaica's GDP comes from tourism. So a lot of the jobs are in tourism. It's a way out. It's a way for a better life. It's a way to feed families. This is not a choice. This is about survival. In Michael's eyes, he sees this as slavery 2.0. He goes on to say this modern day slavery is just a more palatable version because the exploitation still remains. So with no job security, no housing security, outdated labor laws, no welfare, no safety nets, Jamaicans held protests at 8 different resorts. and they were punished. But what these resorts fail to realize is tourism is not about the resort. It's about the people. The people are the ones who bring the culture. They bring the food. They bring the language. They bring the vibes. But these resorts are watering them down. They're diluting the food, diluting the language. They are trying to dilute and gentrify. These workers are trapped in a never-ending cycle where they feel like they have no place to go and nowhere to turn to. As a matter of fact, many of them are suffering in silence and just feel like they should be grateful to have a job. They don't think that they're deserving of basic human rights. They don't think that they're deserving of workers' rights. But they are. They are absolutely deserving of the most minimum rights as people. This isn't about, this is just how tourism works. This is about policy. This is about power dynamics. This is about a country that was promised its independence, yet somehow is still being exploited by colonization. A lot of these workers depend on tips. But unfortunately, these resorts have now turned around and pushed this no-tip policy, no-tip culture, no-tip environment. So workers can't ask for tips. They may still be able to receive them, but they're at the mercy of the guests. And on top of being exploited by the government and by these resorts, they're also treated poorly by some of the guests. What some of you saw during Hurricane Melissa is very real, and it happens every single day. But unfortunately, these people feel like they can't say anything. They feel like they can't stand up for themselves because they are victims to the resort. So as a whole, what can we do? What can the diaspora do? What can foreigners do? What can tourists do? What can people who appreciate and love Jamaica do? We cannot abandon the resorts. We can't. We need to support the resort workers. So go to the resorts, but tip them fairly. Treat them kindly. And also don't neglect the locals either. There are a lot of local tourist spots to go to. Local restaurants, excursions, gift shops. I know that the resorts have peddled to you that it may be unsafe to leave, but it's not. The Jamaican people will treat you with kindness. They will treat you with respect. As long as you treat them well, they will treat you well. And they will take care of you. They will show you around. They will be excited to do so. And if Jamaica is on your bucket list, just remember that a lot of these people are going back to dire situations after having cleaned your room. And as Michael said, a lot of them have bitter situations. But they don't say anything to you. They keep respectful towards you. They remain kind to you. They share their culture with you. So the least you could do is be respectful, be kind, spread awareness, and stand up for them. Go and visit the local vendors. Go and visit the local restaurateurs. They'd love to see you. There are a lot of people that are still suffering from Hurricane Melissa. Over 2,000 jobs were lost. There are a lot of people still suffering from Hurricane Melissa. Over 2,000 jobs were lost. Many Jamaicans have a GoFundMe. Feel free to donate. But most importantly, I'd like to share Michael's organization, the National Hospitality Workers Union, NHWU. He offers tourist guides, but more importantly, he helps people of Jamaica to become better workers in hospitality. He wants to support their rights. He wants them to have rights. And let me tell you, the government don't like what he's saying. So we need to stand up for him, speak up for him, and speak for all of the workers that are suffering every single day because of the resorts and because of places like the UK and the US and other corporations who are taking advantage and exploiting the local residents of Jamaica. The culture shall not be diluted. We must hold on to its integrity, its legacy, its history. And that can only be done through the people. So next time you go to Jamaica, make sure that you tip well, you treat people with respect, you visit the locals, and you have a great time. But don't ever forget how the resorts treat their workers, and do your best to spread awareness and let people know the truth about the tourism of Jamaica.
If you're planning a trip to Ocho Rios, Jamaica, don't even waste your time on this place. This is Turtle River Park. And if you're thinking about coming here while you're in Ocho Rios, don't waste your time. There's nothing here. Let me show you what I mean. Go ahead and take in this majestic view as you can, because it's the most majestic thing about Turtle River Park. I've walked around both and looked at both sides of the koi pond. Now this don't look like me. But I don't know. Maybe. But anyway, I've walked around and I've looked at both sides and I've seen one brightly colored koi. So let's see what else we'll find as we walk around Turtle River Park. Finally see a turtle. You see the turtle over there? I'll turn it around so you can see. I stand corrected. I see another brightly colored one. And one over there. See that one over there? There's another one somewhere over here. I'll turn around so you can see. Okay, there's one over there. Can't see him so well. Oh, the water's so murky you can't really see them. Is it supposed to be like that? He came to visit Turtle River Park, and I understand there's supposed to be a beautiful waterfall and a bird sanctuary. So we're trying to find it, and all we found so far was a little front garden area. Now this seems to be the exit. I don't see too many other places, so I think we're gonna have to ask to find out, where is the waterfall? Where's the bird sanctuary? Stay tuned. When I read in the little description about Turtle River Park, I was told there's a waterfall and you can go take a picture in front of the waterfall and it's so scenic. We looked all around for the waterfall. I ain't see a waterfall. We finally had to ask somebody, well, where's the waterfall? Trying to waterfall being closed. I said, what about the little bird aviary? Because I do love birds. And you're supposed to be able to take pictures with exotic birds. Whatever exotic birds you see around here, that's the pictures you can take. Now, your best bet is you can get some great butterfly shots. Check out some of these that I was able to find. Look at these butterflies. Wow. This is what you can expect to see if you come to Turtle River Park. It's literally just a park. It's alright as a park, but it's just a park. It's the rest of what you would see if you were to come. I wouldn't waste my money. You pay to park, which was 200 Jamaican dollars. Be careful because they almost charged us 400. Ooh. And then you can walk through the park and you'll have to ask yourself, why did you even have to pay the $200? Because this really should be a free admission park. So anyway, that's the scoop with Turtle River Park. Save your money, y'all.
Did you guys know that less than 1% of Jamaica's population has access to their beaches in Jamaica? Actually, the number is 0.6% of Jamaica's population, to be exact. And why? Because of colonization. Foreign companies have bought out all the beachfront properties in Jamaica, limiting and preventing access of local indigenous Jamaicans from accessing their beaches, their own beaches. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, the hotels and resorts that are getting built is probably creating jobs and it's creating, tourism, which is creating economic wealth for the country. Actually, 80% of the wealth created from tourism in not just Jamaica, but all of the Caribbean is moved to Western and foreign countries. I guess this is so triggering for me because oftentimes I hear people who will go to countries like Jamaica and go, oh, there were too many people selling me things on the beaches and it was just so annoying. Actually, a lot of those people who are selling you souvenirs and trinkets on the beaches used to be fishermen. They used to be independent. But because of hotels and resorts buying up the beachfront properties, they have to resort to selling you rides on jet skis and selling you souvenirs. When we're talking about Jamaica specifically, it's not just beachfront properties that are being purchased by foreign countries and foreign companies. It's also the fact that Jamaica is the world's leading exporter of bauxite, which is the ore of which aluminum comes from. And foreign companies have been mining Jamaica's land for bauxite. And it has taken a toll on the land and its people. And now that it's depleted the land, they're looking to move to more ecologically friendly areas of Jamaica's island. A country that is dependent on tourism for economic stability is a country that is still enslaved, and Jamaica is one of many countries. I mean, this is happening to Puerto Rico, this is happening in the Philippines, it's happening in Thailand, it's happening in Bali.
So what are y'all doing for gas? You all know this phone was coming, right? So you're gonna give us bag lunches?
We'll go anywhere in the United States. We just need to get out of Jamaica. Please.
All-inclusive resort. Okay? This is a lunchbox.
I firmly believe that one of the functions of mass tourism is to further divide the global working class. We're seeing this division currently in Jamaica, where tourists are expressing their anger at hotel workers for not having certain foods and services ready to cater to them. This conflict is on purpose, and I'm going to use Marx's concept of a labor aristocracy to describe why. I released a video a few days ago describing how mass tourism allows the working class from the global north to go to the global south and feel like kings for a day, specifically when staying at all-inclusive resorts. There's a reason why all-inclusives seem to be so accessible, so cheap, so easy, everything's figured out for you. That exists so that workers from the global north can easily save up and take a quick and easy vacation to somewhere tropical, enjoy themselves for a few days, then get back to the capitalist grind. This is the labor aristocracy, workers in the global north who have much more privilege than workers in the global south. And part of that privilege is that they're able to be paid more in the global north because the companies that they work for outsource the grunt labor to the global south, where a slave class exists with no labor protections and can therefore be heavily exploited to do a lot of labor for almost free or for a very low cost, which then frees up the revenue of the corporation to be able to pay workers in the global north much more. Now here's the thing, workers in the global north are still oppressed by capitalism. They are still victims of capitalism, but comparatively their lives are a lot more comfortable. So long as they toe company line, they can pretty much coast through a comfortable life. But that comfort comes at the expense of workers in the global south. This is a reality that many workers in the global south are acutely aware of, but that many workers in the global north are ignorant to. And they take that ignorance and the promise of being king for a day that they've been sold by the all-inclusive resort they're going to be staying at, and then behave in oppressive ways to workers at the resort destinations who are there to wait on them hand and foot. Tourism then ends up becoming a point of friction between these two classes of workers. The labor aristocracy from the global north, whose much more comfortable life in the global north makes them more susceptible to buying into modes of capitalism, tell them it's okay to exploit the workers that are already being exploited by the hotel that they're working for. When the labor aristocracy travels to the global south, they lose sight of the fact that they themselves are also an oppressed working class. And feeling like king for a day makes them believe that maybe if they just work harder, they can be kings for more than just a day, maybe a week, a month, a year, their lifetime. So their vacation actually ends up being effective propaganda that makes them more willing to buy into capitalism because they've tasted unlimited privilege for a few days. That system that they feel is much kinder to them as a labor aristocracy is brutal to the workers in the global south, who are the recipients of a much more brutal form of capitalism than the labor aristocracy ever experiences in the global north. These divides create a lot of friction, and that's what we're seeing at the resorts in Jamaica. You have these groups of working class people, but only one segment of them believes that they're not working class, and they wield that privilege against a group of people that they have more in common with than the kings they're trying to be. Mind you, while all this is happening, real estate developers are preparing to grab land in Jamaica as they often do after an ecological disaster. A disaster, mind you, that is created by the systems of capitalism that the labor aristocracy is so eager to buy into. So while the working classes fight each other, the real movers and shakers of capitalism steal land, buy up property, gentrify entire neighborhoods in Jamaica and the Caribbean, and then blame that entire process of gentrification that can only be carried out via policy and huge amounts of capital on the most visible scapegoat, the belligerent tourists, aka the labor aristocracy that tried so hard to become kings for a day. This is where the largest trick is played. Belligerent tourists are easy to blame because they're loud and they're visible, and they make a perfect distraction while real estate developers and private equity firms buy political elites and colonize the land. The worst part, they're going to build an all-inclusive resort that you will go to next year. The entire cycle will repeat again and again and again. Kindly see below for resources on how you can help communities in Jamaica. Thank you so much.
Now let's talk about it. What was shown in that clip? Two realities. The one tourism experience and the one local life every day. And sometimes those two realities doesn't match. Let's simplify it. Tourism is built on experience, presentation, and escape. So naturally, the best parts are highlighted, but that doesn't mean that is the full story, because behind the resort and attraction, there are local communities, daily struggles, and economy. Now let's talk perspective. For many Black communities, not just in Jamaica but globally, there's an understanding that what is shown is not always the full reality, because presentations matters, visibility matters, and whose story gets told matters. So when someone steps forward and says, there is more to this picture, that voice becomes important because it brings balance, it brings awareness, and it brings truth to the conversation. Let's be clear, tourism is not a bad thing. It creates job opportunities and economic growth, but at the same time, it can create contrast between what visitors says and what local experience, and that contrast is what people are reacting on. This topic is trending because it touches travel, reality versus perception, and hidden truth. And people are naturally curious about what am I not seeing? That question alone drives engagement. Let's let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about Jamaica, it's about a global pattern. Places are often presented in a way that attracted visitors but doesn't always reflect the full picture. And when someone exposes that gap, it sparks conversation. Think about it. Have you ever seen a place online, thought it looked perfect, that then realized there was more beneath the surface? That's not uncommon. That's reality versus perception. And at the end of the day, this isn't just about running the image of a place, it's about understanding it fully, because every place has beauty, challenges, and real people behind the scenes. And when we see all sides, we understand better. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think tourism shows the full reality of a place or just the best parts? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's have a real discussion about it. And if you want more real eye-opening breakdown like this, hit the subscribe button because we are going deeper on every viral clips on this channel every time. Thank you for watching. I will see you all in my next video.